Hello, guys. Happy Sunday. Oh, my goodness. Sandy Pyle. I just saw your name. I need you to message me your mailing address for one of the giveaways that you won. That's not where I was going to start, but as soon as I saw your name, you won a giveaway, and I need you to email me your mailing address. Hello, guys. Hi, Patricia and Sharita and Janie and Linda and Virginia. I was kind of thrown off there for a minute. And Ann and Carrie. I have to tell you guys, hi, Jessica. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Ann. Hi, Letitia. I was watching a live the other day, and there was this nasty person that says, we don't need you to say hi to everybody. I just want to watch you paint. It wasn't toward me. It was someone else, but I'm like, man. Hello, Marlene, my Memphis friend. Hello, Barb Perkle and Cindy. And I will say hi to everybody on the list. Hello, Lisa and Judy, because it's about connecting, right? And I'm happy that you guys are here. So welcome. Aloha, Lisa. Hi, Debbie. So we can say hi to as many people as we want to, right? So, or I am anyway. Hi, Sharita. Hello, Virginia and Linda. And did I see Marty? You're in Florida. Have fun. Gorgeous weather. Hello, Lori. Oh my goodness. And Mary and Cindy and Lori. We could go on. And Sue. Anyway, welcome to Sundays in the Studio with Sandy. I am Sandy. If you've not been here before, welcome. We're in for a fun, creative afternoon of painting. So we are so happy you're here. Well, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Hello, Alice. Some people, right, Sharita? I know. I think I agree, Linda. I think it's nice. It's one thing especially like in my membership group. The reason that I do quarterly Zoom classes is because I want to see faces and hear voices and put voices and faces to names, and not just be me talking all the time. So anyway, in fact, I had a fantastic Zoom class yesterday with the Cactus Wren Creative Artists in Arizona. Fantastic Zoom class, and I thought, okay, I'm doing that, and then I'm going to do my Sunday live, but I can't miss coming and painting with y'all on Sunday if I can. So reminds me of Romper Room, but I love it. Sharita, I loved Romper Room, and I agree. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy said, remember to share. So I'll just pop this up, especially if you want to be entered into the giveaways. All you have to do is like, comment, and share. So I can tell I'm going to have to turn on my fans in my studio. It is almost 80 degrees here in Middle Georgia. I am smack dab in the middle of the state. And with all my studio lights on, look at my hair now, because my hair will be flat when we're done. So, hello, Peggy. So nice to see you, Linda. Thanks for being here. And Janet and Lynn. Sprinkled, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. Hello, Deb. All right, guys. I think it's really nice of you to recognize your watchers. I agree. So there. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. You can fast forward this part and come back and watch it later. Thank you, Patricia, for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So I'm not sure on Facebook. I'm not seeing it on mine, but sometimes in the comment section, there's a little star, and you can send stars. On YouTube, there's the little money sign in the comments, and that money goes to the World Central Kitchen, feeding people around the world, and right now over in war-torn Ukraine, and also in the incredibly devastating earthquake disaster in Syria and Turkey. So, which thankfully my brother-in-law was, he's in Istanbul, so he's away from that, but just so sad. Hello, Brenda. Oh, thank you, Patricia. I loved my lessons for OKC. So I'm going to pop those up. If you're not familiar with OKC, let me turn that off. OKC is OKC Painting Palooza. It's in August, And I'm teaching 2 classes, which are right here. And then I will also have a booth. So I will have 3 booth spaces filled to the brim with tons of product. And I hope that you can go, but you can find out all the information and see all the classes soon on their website, OKC Painting Palooza. The other thing is you can order a catalog from OKC Painting Palooza as well, and see all the amazing classes. And I know the trade show floor is almost full of vendors. I think they maybe had 1 or 2 spots left, so should be a wonderful event. So we've got some nasty weather headed our way. Oh my goodness, yes you do, Sharita. You're kind of in that area, aren't you? Well, I hope that you will stay safe. So be safe and hunker down, because you guys are in for a ride, it looks like. But it sounds like someone was unkind. So not on my life, Cindy, just on someone else's. You know, it's funny, you read the comments sometimes, and this person was just going on and on about, you know, do you have to say hi to everybody? I'm here just to watch you craft. It was a crafter, a friend of mine. But you know, come on, be nice. And if I want to say hi to 1,000 people and sit here until 5 o'clock and say hi, I'm going to do it. Because guess what? It's my show and it's my channel. And I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you very much. So hi, Molly Ann. Hi, Lucy. So good to see you guys on. All right, guys, let's take care of giveaways from last week, giveaways for this week, and then right into our lesson. But before I do that, I have to just kind of give a shout out to my lovey, my husband. He retired this week. So he was in the Air Force for 22 years, flew for the Air Force, and retired, and then did a contractor job for a little bit, and then was a civil service employee until Friday. And so he retired after 10 years with civil service, and now I have the pleasure of him working with me. In fact, he got this coffee mug from a coworker, and I thought it was apropos. So he is my #1 supporter, my biggest cheerleader, and I know that he's going to help me in my business, as he already does. So yeah, super, super proud of him. And you're doing it for free, so nobody has the right to be rude. Right, Donna? I agree. Anywho's. Okay, guys. So, but yes, it was nice. We had, the cup is funny, right? So tomorrow morning we have a planning meeting, which is nice. We're going to sit down with the calendar and see what I have coming up and what needs to be done. And if nothing else, my business probably will be more organized than it ever has been, because he's the most organized man I know. So, and I love him dearly. And like I said, biggest cheerleader of mine, biggest supporter. And I have to say, kind of has an eye for design, because oftentimes I will show him something and he'll point out the one thing I know needs to be changed, and I don't want to change it. Even before I ask him sometimes. So, you know, I already know. But he'll look at it and then I'm like, God, he's right. I need to change it. So I will, and I'm much happier with it. So I'm looking forward to to having him here. And tomorrow we're starting our walking routine and our eating good, healthy routine. So have a lot planned, and I'm looking forward to having him here. Thank you guys so much. He'll see these, so I appreciate it. And if I can twist his arm hard enough, I'll have him be my Renee. My Renee to me as Renee is to Tracy. So we'll see where that's going to go. But y'all get a kick out of his voice because he's very Southern. So send him to my house. I tore up my craft room. It's the biggest mess on my hands right now. Let me tell you, the man can organize anything, but he walks into my space and I think it's overwhelming. To me, I know it's overwhelming to him. So anyway, you're so lucky to have, I am extremely lucky. He is the most supportive. Yeah, he really is. And it's the only reason I get done what I get done is because he is so incredibly supportive. So let me move a couple things out of the way and then we're going to get started. All right, I do have a product that I wanted. I put it on my stories and I meant to put it on my page, but let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I get this question a lot. Two things. What's on my workstation? It's a large silicone baking mat that you can get from Amazon. I got it at the height of the pandemic as I was reorganizing my space, and I wanted something that wasn't disposable because I hate to throw paper away, you know, like brown paper. And I had a glass tabletop, but with the lights and everything and doing so many things online, there was such a glare. So I needed something that would diffuse the light, and I thought of a baking mat. I don't know why, but I did. And so I probably could have sold 2,000 of them by now, but you can find it by yourself on Amazon, okay? But let me come right down here and show you the other thing, the other question I get all the time, and that is what palette paper I use. So my favorite go-to is the Jack Richardson palette paper. It's gray, it's disposable. Comes with this really nice little color chart and value scale over here, which is awesome. I highly recommend cutting that out and putting packing tape on both sides if you don't have a laminator. Mine's laminated. But anyway, it is disposable palette paper. However, if you like to recycle, you can wipe it off with a baby wipe while your paint is still wet, and you can reuse it, okay? But this is my go-to palette paper. You can find it just about anywhere. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, dickblick.com. I get mine on Amazon just because when I'm ordering on Amazon with everything else, I usually get it there. So, but this is my go-to favorite palette paper, okay? All right, let's take care of giveaways. So as I like to do, the first giveaway we have is on YouTube. Carrie Lozana, you were the first to comment. So message me what free e-packet you'd like, and I will get that sent to you. On Facebook, Sue Cavallini, you were the first to comment. So again, you can go to my website, or you can just message me here on Messenger what e-packet you'd like from my website, okay? And then we had some giveaways, and let's start with those. So let me get these. I have 3. Okay, so I had 2 stamps of mine and a Stampendous stamp. This one is, let me see the names on there, Burby Script, which is a nice little 6x6 stamp. And the winner of that is Kathy McAllister. Kathy, if you go to my website, click on the Contact Us button, message me your mailing address, I will get these mailed to you. Now, let me tell you guys, after 2 weeks, if I don't hear from you, they go back into the stash, and I use them for future giveaways, when chapters ask for donations, things like that. So make sure that you claim your prize, because after 2 weeks, it goes back in the stash, all right? The next thing I had was these little sets I shared with you guys. One is the mini stencil set, which I didn't bring everything in here again, but it has a dragonfly, butterfly, and a bee. And then there is chipboard, so bees and honeycomb, and then butterfly chipboard set. I have these on my website. You can see pictures there. And then this cute little keychain or charm or whatever you want to. I have too much paint, said no one ever. Hello, right? Anyway, and the winner of that is Debbie McClellan. So was there another Debbie that just won the other? That's fun. No, it was Kathy. Hello. McClellan. I think I said that right, hopefully. So message me your mailing address and I'll get these shipped off to you. All right. And then we had brushes. So we had some of my favorite go-to brushes. So this 12, this IPC flat top mop that I use as a mop. My favorite Dynasty brush, the 3/4 with the acrylic handle, and small mezzaluna, my favorite size rigger, which is a 0, and a 3/8 stencil brush. So one lucky winner to get Sandy's favorite brushes, and that is Nancy Stovall. Nancy, message me your mailing address, and I will get these out to you. All right? So let me move these out of the way. How big is that gray oval mat? It's the largest one. I put in extra large silicone baking mat. And let me just say that it's probably, that is 14. So it's at least 28 inches by 14, probably 19, somewhere around there. Okay, so Nancy, message me. I'm going to put those in my husband's coffee cup. Okay, so in addition to the e-packet giveaways, I have 2 additional giveaways this week. And the first one is for this set of laser cut dragonflies. I absolutely love this. There are 5 different sizes. The thing is, they come in the SVG file as like you could hang it, but you can easily cut this off, and I'm going to show it to you cut off. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've been popping in some of these little ones into orders as they go out. So one lucky winner for those, and let me just show you a piece that I did. And so this piece with these pink dahlias on it, and it has that laser cut dragonfly that I painted and added it to that piece. So super cool. And see the thing cut right off easily off the head. So anyway, let's move those out of the way. All right. And then the next one I also cut on my new laser machine. Let me zoom in just a little here. And it is, I had to wrap it because there's so many little bits and bobs to this. But it is a dimensional piece that has a frame, and it's a hot cocoa bar. Anyway, super cute. You can paint it however you want to. And it'll come with a picture to show you how to lay it out, because I'm sure like that just moved. It's all gonna move. And then I thought how cool it would be to be able to like put that up on something. So for OKC last year, I did the special event with Lisbeth Stoll, and Pinecraft was nice enough to cut these easels for us. So I thought that would be cute, even if you don't use it for that. The easel's kind of big for this piece, but anyway, another winner for that, okay? And all you have to do is like, hit the wrong thing, like, comment, and share to enter to win. You've been busy on your laser cutter. I have. I'm having a blast with it. I just need a little more time to play with it. Okay, so if you missed last week's live, we did the background for this piece right here. So I'm not going to go through the background. Again, you can go onto my website and see my website. You can go onto my YouTube channel and see how I did the plaid background. There are additional designs in this series. I'm hoping to have them done by Easter. There's a little yellow chickadee that's drawn out and a little lammy. So anyway, so this is Hoppy Easter. It comes with Hoppy Easter. I told you guys, on the live last week, what do I put? Happy Spring, Hoppy Spring. I just kind of felt, and so did my husband, my second designer here, with the basket, it just lent itself a little more towards Easter. So I put Hoppy Easter on it. And I went ahead and did that background last week with you guys. And then I base coated it. So you can find the e-packet for this up on my website right there. And the e-packet has step-by-step instructions, pictures, supply list, and line drawing. Okay. So what I did, again, the background last week, and I see that my lines are different in my plaid, but that's okay. It might throw me off a little. I went ahead and I base coated some things just to save on time, okay? But to show you kind of the elements, the main important elements of how I painted it, we will go through that today. So, thank you guys. I think Carol, I might. I need to look and see if I have any more of those easels. I thought I did in my stash, but I'll have to look. Okay, so let's get my palette paper here, and I'll show you what I did. So I base coated him with a mixture of slate gray and white, which slate gray is also our background color. So the first go around, it's a little difficult to see him, and then I just added more and again base coated him in, and then I laid the pattern back down. So let me show you. Where's my pattern? Once I got him on, base coated him in with a mixture of that slate gray and white, I laid my pattern back down just to get the facial features on him. It helps if you do your pattern on vellum to be able to see that. I get mine on Amazon. Just put in vellum, printable vellum, and you can print right on it. Okay, the shirt is base coated with Sunny Day. The bow, I base coated with lavender, but I am going to come back and see how light it is. I probably will come back and do a little bit of white with that lavender because I did 2 coats and it's darker than my original. Don't know why. But the basket, I base coated with a mixture of asphaltum and lamp black. And what else? Oh, the green egg. I wanted to bring that green in from the background, so I did a little bit of foliage green. Okay, so, and then the words, I just base coated those in with white. You can use warm white if you want, and I will show you how to do the shadow and then also the little, kind of a little ombre effect at the bottom. All right, so let's get started. We're going to get out some white paint. The other thing is, guys, I am a one-man show until I can convince my husband to do this with me. So if you have questions, I will look up often to see, but if I miss any, I will go back and answer them, okay? Sometimes it's a little difficult on YouTube because I can't go into the comments after it, after it ends. So, but on Facebook I can. Okay. So I'm going to get out some Payne's Gray as well. And we're going to layer. You guys know I like to layer my paint. Let's get this off. Remember, do yourself a favor. Get those things off your paint cap. It will make your paint last a lot longer. Alrighty. In the background for the plaid, I used, and you guys sold me out, of the Tim Holtz shifter stencil. I have them on order. I should hopefully get them in soon. And then I have some new ones coming as well. So excited about that. Love Tim Holtz stencils. And on the t-shirt or shirt, I used M221. M2 stencils is a collaboration with Tracy Moreau McTeer, M2, M square. And so we're going to put some little polka dots on him. Okay, but what I want to do first so that it can dry is just get a little bit of shading on his face so that I don't lose the elements. So I'm going to come in with let's do a 1/4 inch angle. Okay. And a little bit of water so that I can get that paint to move. All right, I just spilled. Hello. So a little bit of water. Payne's Gray on the toe only. All right. So if you're not familiar with using an angle brush, there's a toe and a heel. And that toe is the only thing that's loaded right now, and I'm working that in. And you can kind of walk it over just a little bit so that it's not so dark. I, again, just want to get in. I walked over too far. Some areas that I know I don't want to go away. And then I want to get my mop brush. Where is my mop brush? Hello, hello, hello. Well, I'm going to have to take that one and get a new one. Alrighty. So anytime you can give yourself placement and guidelines, guide marks, with the line drawing so that you don't lose it. It's very helpful. And I'm just going to do that with a little bit of shading. Okay. And a lot of it's going to be covered up because we're going to put white on our bunny to make him a little bit more fluffy and white. All right. So a little bit underneath the eyebrows. In here, I did have a little, kind of like a little V that comes down, but the majority of it gets covered up. Okay, he's going to look scary. He's going to be a scary bunny before we start adding some fur and everything else to him, okay? So I'm going to get a little bit on his nose. I'm not even going to do his eyes right now because we've got to take care of that. Let's get a little bit on the toe. And I'm going to put a little bit where his shirt meets his fur. But again, a lot of that's going to be covered up. Just trying to save my design. And then in here, we're going to put a little where that fluffy tail is. And then also where his foot meets his body. Okay, so just a little shimmy of that brush. Okay, he is really scary looking, isn't he? Okay, so while that's setting up, I'm going to take my 3/8 Stencil Pro and let's get, that should say media paint. Yes, the media paint is my absolute favorite. The Payne's Gray is incredible. It's transparent. It's beautiful. If you've not used it, you totally are missing out. Let me just say that. You can mix it with your Americana, your acrylic paints, and they're highly pigmented. Don't let the price tag scare you because a little goes a long way. All right, so I loaded the brush up with white and I wiped almost all of it off on a dry paper towel. You want to make sure that your paper towel is dry. And we're going to come in here and put on some polka dots on the shirt. And I might get some on the ribbon, and that's okay because remember, I'm going to paint that ribbon again. Okay. So, again, just a little white polka dot shirt. We'll move that to the side. And I have got to pop these fans on. Give me a second. Whew. It is hot in here. All right. I knew I should have turned them on before I even started. Okay. Let's get out some saffron yellow. Hello, there's those pesky little. And then my 3/8 angle brush. I really have been trying to take those away, you know, off of my bottles when I see them, because it really does make your paint last longer when the bottle can close. All right, so a little saffron yellow on the toe of a 3/8 angle. Okay, and so on that toe only, and I'm going to float that color along the edge of the shirt where the bow meets the shirt. And I'm going to do this before I repaint that bow. And I'm just doing it to kind of, well, add a little interest to that shirt and frame it in a little with that shading. Get some under there. Again, this is saffron yellow. A little there. And it pairs really nicely with that sunny day. And a little there. Okay. I think I'll do a little bit more right up underneath there. And then again, soften it. Okay. So just kind of soften that look with the mop. I'm going to rinse that brush. I've given a bottle or two to people that haven't used it. Oh, that's a good idea, Dee. It is amazing, right? It's just the best. Okay, so again, a little Payne's Gray. I'm going to come up underneath the, well, that's too much. Hello, Sandy. So I just wiped off my brush, added a little touch of water, and I just want to float right under that shirt. Again, most of it's going to be covered up. And then I might even take my brush. I don't think I did this on the original, but I am just gonna kind of come in and take what's on that brush off on the tail. Because our bunny is white. Nothing is ever white. It has some color to it. As far as a shadow, whether it's a lavender or a green or gray, there has to be something that, you know, that gives it shape. And so Payne's gray is going to be that color for me, and the slate gray in the back, okay, with that white. So I'm not going to paint the bow again until I'm done with the face, or I'm going to get into it. So let's come in with, let's do the number 8 flat. So number 8 flat, I'm going to get some white paint. And I'm going to start, and the Hoppy is in the way. So the P I'm going to have to repaint, which is fine. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and give this bunny some fluff, okay? But I don't want to cover up all the paint that all the gray, all the base color that's under there. So I'm just tapping on the corner of the brush. Okay, you can use a Mezzaluna brush as well, but kind of similar to how I did the bear at Christmas. So if you saw the bear that I did, a little similar to how I did that. And we're just going to tap that on. It's going to take several layers. Right now I'm not going for pretty, I'm just going for a little coverage. Okay, so a little coverage. We're gonna and along those edges, make sure that that brush goes outside the rim so that you don't end up with a straight line, okay, because that's not going to look real pretty. Okay, and then a little on his face. He was fun to paint though, as I was painting him, and was kind of in that scary stage, like you guys saw, that ugly stage of, oh my gosh, where's this going? I really thought, okay, I need to base coat over him and start over. And I thought, nope, gonna push through and get this to look good. So again, I'm leaving that space so that you can see some of that gray underneath. And try not to take away all his little details. But again, if I do, I have my pattern, I could lay it back down, but not something I really care to do. And we'll do a little shading there. So before I come down here, I do want to come in with a liner brush and get a little bit of Payne's gray and just kind of like the little top of his nose, his mouth. Oop, need a little bit of water. Just so that I don't lose it. You could use an Idena pen, like a fine tip of an Idena pen, but I already have my Payne's gray out, so why not? Ooh, that Diet Coke's kicking in. Hello. And since we have Payne's gray on our brush, let's just go ahead and paint in his eyes so we can take a little bit of that scariness away. And I'm just using a little liner brush. Doesn't matter what brush, as long as it's thin and not going to make too big of a line like there, which we will take care of with our fur, which again will take a couple of passes. So I'm going to let this dry and set up a bit and come down here to his bottom half, and again right up to that shading. Remember I said it's just there for placement. It's to give me some guidance so that I know that I can come back in and shade there, but I'm not going to lose the shape. Okay, so I'm on that 8, and I'm kind of using it like a little bit of a scruffy brush We'll put more white over his foot once we get the basket done. But I'm just gonna tap, 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 tap. Tap on that corner. Fill that in. And then his tail. So again, I don't want to cover up all the gray. Leave some of those pockets of gray. And if you do, the fix is just to put in a little bit of gray and white and pounce it on, and then come back in with some white. But you'll just give it a little dimension. You could, like I said, you could use a scruffy brush. I'm not big on a scruffy brush. I would much rather use my flats like a scruffy. It's just my preferred way. So again, on his paw, right up to his sleeve. Okay, so look how much that really covered. I think I was being a little conservative on his head because I didn't want to mess him up. So I'm going to come back, even though I have that area to do, I'm going to come back and start putting in a little bit of that white in here. Again, softly going over that ear. It's going to have pink in there as well. Come along his head. And then just kind of flip-flop, slip-slap that brush on the corner. Flip it over and use the other corner. You can use the chisel edge to get into tighter areas, like I'm going to do down here for his chin. And let me just look up for a second. Hi, Sandy. Hello, Laura. Hi, Barb. No apology necessary. Glad that you guys are here. Remember to share with your friends and to like, comment, share to be entered in for the giveaways. Okay. Oh, I can't wait to finish the lamb. I hope it comes out the way it's in my head because so far it's super cute. So I know that the eyebrows are there and I want to leave them there, but I want to tone them down a little. Okay, so I am going to come in with a little skim of white paint around that eye, over the nose, and guess what? Even a slight skim of paint over the mouth. Okay, white paint. Now, also look how much paint I have on my brush. It's not dripping with paint. All right, it's oh, now he isn't angry, right? He was looking kind of angry before. Yes. Again, and it's comical too if you design, if you're a designer and or you know what, even if you're not and you're painting somebody else's design, when you get to that stage, you're just like, oh my goodness gracious, really? He looks so mad. Or, you know, he's scowling, and it all comes together. It will. So again, I'm just going to skim over his nose. I want to give him a little fat cheek. So again, come out. And I'm not really worried too much about the edge right now. I don't want to make a straight line, but I am going to show you how to make him even fluffier. Okay, because I wanted him just to be a big fluff ball. And I don't know if you just saw that, but that's sweat dripping off my brow. We're going to have sweat in this piece. I could probably float with it, right? It's just so hot in my studio. Okay, I don't want to lose too much shape. I just gave him a big old jaw there, and I need to take some of that away. Okay, so just kind of tap, 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 tap. Right over that gray and everything. Skim over that mouth. Again, we're going to put it back in. But I have placement because I can see it underneath that white paint. And again, anytime I can do that for myself, I love that. Okay, now he's looking like a happy little bunny, right? Okay, so I'm going to rinse that. Thank you, JL. Hello, Rebecca. Good to see you on. Okay, so, I need a little bit more white. I'm going to get a little bit of water in my brush with a little bit of white. Tap it off on my paper towel. And I just want to do a little wash of white to tone this down a little bit more. Let's raise his eyebrow just a touch. There. Okay. I'm going to come in with a liner brush and a little bit of Payne's Gray. And again, just kind of like the bridge of his nose. His nose has very, very little to it. In fact, let me hold it up so that you can see. See, it's got like a line at the bridge of his nose, and then what look like nostrils. It's kind of the appearance of, the look of. And then I'm just going to take that liner brush, again, do a little eyebrow, and then his mouth, and I want this to taper off nicely into that fur. I don't even know what liner brush this is. It's a Dynasty. I don't know, I just grabbed it out of my thing. I don't know if I've ever used this one. It's a 3/0, it's kind of small, so let's get this one. This is a 10/0. And then remember I had that V. I am going to just do slight little, almost like the shadow going up to his eyebrow. And I have it a little on both sides. Okay, let's get out. Wow, that's a lot of saffron yellow. So I'm going to be really bad. Don't do this. But take a clean, dry brush. Yes, that was bad. And like I said, these Jack Richardson palettes are awesome because then you can make space for your next color, which is a new color. This is a new color last year that DecoArt came out with, Fuchsia Pop. Really pretty pink, and it's for the most part transparent, and that's what I love about it. So I opted to go with this instead of the quinacridone magenta because I wanted a softer pink. And let me just show you a close-up of the layers. Okay, so you can still see that Payne's Gray like what I just put down. And then a wash of white. And then I'm going to do pink. I'll probably do another wash of white. But it's these little tiny hairs of fur. And then also even a little bit of yellow that I brought in from the shirt up in here. Again, it just adds a softness when you bring those colors all the way around in your design. So I'm going to use this number 8, a little bit of pink on the corner and just kind of work it in. Again, it's a transparent color, but it does have a really pretty, oh, so pretty color to it. And you can make it more opaque if you wanted to, but I'm just going to wash that right into his ear. It's a little more pink than I want, but again, like I said, I painted a wash over it of white just to tone it down. Okay, and here I am touching it with my finger, and I could be using my mop just to kind of soften that. Okay, and then same color, I'll pick a little bit of that up on the corner, a touch of white, and I'm going to paint in his nose. Okay, how cute. A little bit more pink. I'm going to do a little bit heavier pink, and then we'll do a wash of white right over it. Okay, so let's get the heat tool. I hate wasting paint too, Jessica. I do. And being very fortunate to be able to work with DecoArt, I have every one of their products in my other studio space, but I still always try and conserve and be a little bit frugal with it, I guess you could say, because I hate to waste paint. Alrighty. Now, one thing I'm going to recommend, is, and let me zoom in just a little bit. I want you guys to see my palette too, but I think it'd be easier too if you can see more of him. Is when I'm painting faces or something like this that has eyes, one thing that will help take away that scary look right off the bat is to go ahead and get the eyes on. So I'm gonna do a little bit of white along the bottom here and bring that up. I really shouldn't have had that Diet Coke this afternoon. Okay, so we're gonna bring that white up. I'm gonna wipe it off because my white got out of control here. Easy to fix. There we go. Rinse that off. And be really careful, guys, with your thinner liner brushes. Don't rake them in your water basin. So in your water basin, if you've got one of those that has the rakes, just swish it. Your paint should be able to come out of that very thin little brush easily, all right? And then a little touch of white on that brush, and I'm going to do a dot, kind of a bigger dot and a smaller dot and a smaller dot. Bigger dot, smaller dot, smaller dot. All righty. Across his nose, I'm gonna do a little white highlight. And then with that brush, I'll take a little pink, little white, mix that together. And I'm gonna come right inside his mouth, which looks like I made it smaller than on the original, and that's okay. A little bit more pink. A little bit more white. All righty. So he's starting to come together, isn't he? Let's go back to that number 8. Happier now that he was. Yes. Oh, Nancy, you're so welcome. I'm thrilled that you won. Just message me your mailing address. Okay, so white, and I'm just doing an inky wash, which means that I have more water than paint in my brush. I tap it across my paper towel just so that I don't have too much. And I'm just going to softly paint that right over the ear, just because I want to diffuse that pink, but I still want to see the pink, okay, which you will with that wash. Why do I keep doing my finger? I want to do my mop so that you can see the difference. So see how that just toned that down? If you want to do a second wash, dry it first, okay? You'll also notice on my original how much bigger his ears are. So I followed a pattern that I have in the packet, but what makes it even fluffier is coming out with those little edges. So I tried to keep the line drawing thinner so that you didn't make big ears to begin with, and then even bigger ears when you put on the little fur lines and fluff to him. Okay, so we're going to, I don't know if you saw that, but that's hot, and that just sucked the paint right out of my brush. So I'm gonna put a little bit of water there. So when you're using that heat tool, make sure that your piece is cooled off before you come in, or it will do just that. Zap that paint right out of your brush. So I'm not gonna waste it. I'm just gonna keep doing a little wash right down his face. I feel like this is off, like he needs, and I'll do that with a liner. I'm talking to myself, but talking to y'all too. Okay, so let's dry that, and then I'm gonna do a second wash. Finish his ears. Hello, Donna, no apology necessary. If you haven't sent the stencils I ordered, you can add, Marlene, I will look. I will look. That's one thing my husband said that he would kind of take over is shipping and stuff, but if you guys get packages for me, I love to draw on the envelopes and the packages, and I like to throw things in extra, and I'm kind of a stickler about how things are packaged. And so I just told him that's fine, but I'm going to have to really do a lot of training and show you how I want this to show up for my customers. So he gets it, but he's like, well, maybe I'll just pack it and then you can draw on the envelope or the package. So see how that second layer just washed, just kind of toned that down even more. It just makes him sweet. Okay, a little bit more on the nose. Okay, I'm gonna come in with my Zero Rigger, some water. Let's get some white. So water in my brush, white, and I'm just kind of rolling it around, making a nice little inky consistency. Be careful with those that they don't have a bunch of sandwich waters on that, and when it drips down, it makes a huge mess, right? So before I do that, I just noticed that I do have on him a little pink cheek. So I do want to put a little bit of pink on him, and I'm going to do it with a small mezzaluna. Just a little bit of pink, wipe it off, and I just kind of want to scumble that around just a little, just to give him a little glow of pink on his cheeks, because with the whiskers that I'm going to put on now, I don't want that to, I'll have to re-put it in. Little, with that inky white, a little bit of Payne's Gray. Load that up, and I'm just going to twirl it. And then we're going to do little whiskers. I don't know if it's dark enough. Nope, need to add a little more Payne's Gray. I don't want them black, so I went with a little white with it as well. You could even use slate gray for that matter, down to our base color. So I did, years ago, I did some fabric painting and had a little bunny on it. It was so cute. And little Easter eggs and a little chickadee. And that's where this bunny came from, was from that design that I did like in 2014. Okay, so now I'm going to take the white, and I'm not going to look at each one. I'm just going to pull whiskers. Okay, and where it covers, it covers. If I need to add more, I'll add more. But I just like that not exact look and how it tones down, but you can still see some of the gray. That one has too much gray. Alrighty, so let's rinse there and come back with that rigger, inky white, and I'm gonna start building up a little bit more fur. So little on his ears, and I'm just kind of pulling and letting it flick. A little around that part of his ear. When it feels like you nothing's coming off, then rinse your brush, get a little more water, a little bit more inky paint. And we're just going to pull some right along that edge of the ear, on the inside of the ear. And right there, I'm going to soften that with a mop because I just feel like it's a little too much. And then let's do this ear. Again, we'll come, am I on camera? Yep. Just on the top of that flip, bring it over into his ear. Okay, I need more water just to get that to move. Because I want these nice and airy and thin. I'm going to turn it this way because if I don't, I'm going to pull these little lines the wrong way. So we'll do a little bit on the edge of his ear. Soften that. Okay, and then let's do on his forehead area, I am going to take that rigger brush and pull. I'm going to turn him upside down. How about I do that and keep my hand out of the way? Pull in some lines. And I don't want to do too many. Again, I want to keep some of that gray in the background. It is the little touches, right? It is. And again, when you paint in layers, sometimes it's just like, you want to get it to the part that, you know, is the fun part and more finished part. But it really does take all those little layers to bring it all together. So again, I'm just doing little lines of fur, not really concentrating on, just more with the pattern of the way the fur would lay, coming off his forehead, going out to the sides. And then again, some little lines, and very overlapped and layered. Okay, so here, you know what, that's what it's missing right there. It's like it's missing something on both sides. I have a little bit of a divot kind of right in here. And then also over in here. So that's just a little Payne's gray, okay? Just to make that stand out a little bit more. So I'm gonna use some white. And who knows, he might even end up fluffier than the one that I did, the original one. Because I tend to keep stroking as I'm talking and telling you guys about it, and it has a mind of its own. Oh, thank you so much, Jessica. I do. I have the rigger, the 0, the 2, and the 10-aught. I also have the Micron 5.0 and 15.0, and plenty of other Dynasty brushes. Okay, in between the whiskers, I'm just going to bring a couple little fur lines out on his chin, on his cheek. The thing with turning it, sometimes when you're trying to pull a directional stroke, you might pull it wrong. So I'm going to try and do this, but keep my hand out of the way. And pull the little fur lines the right way. Okay, his little chunky cheek. Oh, so cute. Okay, and this one does have, like its creator, dark circles. I don't know that I'm going to put those in. I'm kind of liking that he doesn't have any dark circles under his eye. But that shadow might be necessary, so we'll see. We shall see. Again, just layering little slivers of fur. Not really concentrating on, you know, each individual one, just them as a whole. Again, in the same direction that it would be growing in real life. So kind of up that nose, up the forehead, out the sides. And a liner brush likes to be pulled more than pushed. Okay, I don't know if you saw that where I was trying to push it. Pull it. That paint will come off a lot better for you. As I'm looking at him, I'm thinking you could do a cat the same exact way. Alrighty. So let's get a little bit underneath his nose. A little bit more on his chin. And then we're going to move on from his face, because I will sit there and just overwork it. Let's shade a little bit more on his shirt before we do his bow. A little bit of asphaltum. Okay. And I should have left a little saffron out, but I'll just get a little tiny dot. So a lot of times when I'm shading, I'll use the color of what it is that I'm shading and either Payne's Gray or, in this case, asphaltum. You guys are so sweet for putting those links in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then don't forget too that if you use discount code, I'll pop it up right there, ART, all capitals, you get a discount, unless you're in my membership group, and you get a bit better discount than anyone. So saffron yellow on the toe, little bit of asphaltum on the toe as well, okay? And we're gonna float this color right up underneath his arm, just to darken that. And let's soften that. If I had done brown, it would just be more brown looking. And I want that definite darker kind of saffron. And we'll do a shadow there, we'll do a shadow there. Okay. Coolio. Now let's go to, I'm going to come in with a number small, Mezzaluna. Not a number, but a small or even a medium. Let's see which one's this. This is a large. I'll do a large. A medium would be better, but I have a large. And we'll get some white. And I'm just going to kind of work that in. You could use the brush, the number 8, like I did up here, but I do want to get a little texture in there as well, so that Mezzaluna is going to help give that kind of furry texture on his paw. I'm going to turn that around so I can round, oh, there we go. Round that out just a little. See how much more white that is, but you still see the gray underneath because I'm not covering everything up. Okay, and then we'll load that up. Do the same thing down here. And I'm just gonna tap on the corner, on the chisel edge, keeping that texture. And then finally on his tail. Now I made his tail really big up here. I'll show you how to fix that, because I really don't know that I want it that big. I've got background color that I can come in with. And your background color, guys, can be your eraser. All right, if you need to fix something up, if you need to shape something up, if you need to take something away, that background color will do that for you. And again, I don't want it straight, so I'm just gonna give a little shimmy and shake there with the slate gray. Okay, I do feel like it needs that under eye, his dark circles. I'm gonna get a little Payne's gray out on the toe of that 1/4 inch angle. And I'm gonna do a little, well, need more paint, Sandy. Hello. A little float of color under his eye. A little float of color under his eye. And then a little over here. Okay. Now, let's jump back over to real quick, because I really like the I really like the lines on his ear, which I guess is fur, right? Stand out a little bit more right here. Nice and airy. Okay. Now, if you do the under eyes and you're like, oh, that's just too much, you can come in with a little wash. Just come in with a little wash of white. Wherever you feel it's too dark. I think I need to leave his face alone. Let's do his bow. And for that, I'm going to use, I base coated it with lavender, but I want this a little bit lighter. So, and I don't know what the directions say, but I obviously had white in my brush because it's lighter than that lavender. So, a little bit of white with that lavender. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit more closer to what it was that I used. And just use a flat brush on the little streamers. Hello, right over on his shirt. I'm gonna rinse my brush while it's wet. Scrub away the mistake. Can you guys believe that it is the end of February? And we will be decorating for the holidays before we know it. The winter holidays, I mean, because this year is probably going to fly by just as fast as the others. So while you're watching, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what the weather is where you're at. Like I said, it's 78, almost, it's 79 degrees here now, which is kind of crazy for February. A little white, little lavender. Fighting with this paint, and I need some water. Hello. Okay, I'm liking that color much better because I can do some floats of lavender and Payne's Gray on it, and you're going to be able to see it. So let's dry that. Alrighty. No, the dragonflies I cut. The dragonflies you can find on my website. Right now I just have one size, and they're actually wood. So, but they're very lightweight. And then I will also have some chipboard dragonflies soon. I have bees and butterflies right now, and we'll have some dragonflies soon. Okay, let's let that cool down. Okay, I'm going to go back to the 1/4 inch angle, which is, you should see my studio space. It's, hello. I only have like 6 brushes on my thing, and I can never find the one, it was in my water basin. 1/4 inch angle, and I'm going to come in with some lavender and a touch of Payne's Gray. Work that in on the toe. And right here, I want to do a little loop. And then over on this side, we'll do a loop. Let's see if that dripped water. There we go. It's one thing I love about paint, you know, you just wipe it off. It's easy to fix. Okay, so I've got my little loops there. That one's seen better days. I'm going to come in with my Zero Rigger. And do that a little bit better. I thought the angle brush would be fine, but it was not. Get those loops on. And then with that angle, come in on both sides of the knot, which you can't see right now, but watch. with the toe of that brush, just floating in that color right there. We'll be able to bring that knot back into the bow. Okay. And then we will float the same color along the bottom of the streamers. Is that what you call them on a ribbon? On a bow? Streamers? That's what I've always called them. I don't know. A little bit underneath where this meets that bow, where that streamer meets that streamer. And then let's just soften all that. Okay, liner brush or rigger, whichever. Little inky Payne's Gray, and I'm gonna pull out some very thin little lines, just like we did for the whiskers. Rinse that out. I am gonna soften that very lightly, and then let's dry it and highlight it. The tail of the bow, yeah, tails, okay, ribbon tails, streamers. Ah, Bath, Ontario. Oh yeah, Linda, your stencil probably will be there tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. You know what's funny? He kind of looks like he's pregnant on this one. I think I did the shirt a little. Oh well, he's staying pregnant. White. Let's get some white on our rigger brush, and I'm gonna pull little highlight, little highlight, little highlight. You can just do it along that little loop there. So there. And you could float a highlight along the top. I felt like since I put that lighter lavender on, wasn't necessary, but you certainly could. And I don't have one there, but I want a little bright, little light right there. And then just soften it. Okay. On this one, his eyebrows aren't so Jack Nicholson? They're like a V. So I like that softer little eyebrow there. Okay. Let's move on to, he needs a highlight on the knot. And a better highlight on that eye. Kind of went away. And sometimes, you know, if I'm painting wet on wet, if that's wet, it will soak that right in. That white kind of soaks in, and sometimes you got to put it right back in. So I'm going to do a little Payne's Gray, Okay, the basket. So I base coated that again with asphaltum and lamp black. And then I'm going to take a little bit of deep ochre and put that there. And I think my directions say warm white. Yep, I have warm white right there, which is good. He's a fluffy rabbit. Yes, he is. And this right here, let me tell you what's bugging me right here is that there's a white line here, and on my original there isn't a white line, it's green. So it just hit me what it was that's kind of aggravating me in that area. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of Payne's Gray and even just do a little shading on the outside here and soften that, and then I'll come back in with some fur that goes over it. But it was just making them too solid in that area. You didn't get that little divot for his fluffy little cheeks. So let's see if we can rectify that. All right, the basket. So asphaltum and black or Payne's gray, whichever. I'm going to redo that little loop. Deep ochre. You could use antique gold, sunset gold, a little warm white, and I'm just going to make a nice little kind of like a reed, the color of basket reeds. And I'm going to do my lines down first, and I want to make sure that they're curved and then straighter in the center. Started to do what I did on the original, make them too far apart. And then your basket looks like it could have lots of holes in it. So I'll just tell you, if I'm being honest, which I am, is that I probably painted the basket like 4 times because I kept putting the reeds so far apart. So why would it be any different live, right? Aww, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Molly Ann, thank you for the stars, my friend. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, remember, if you heat it, make sure you let it cool down. So, get a little bit of water with that. Let's make these closer, Sandy. All right, so. There, there. You could always put the pattern back down, but I'm not. There, much better. And then it's the under and over thing, right? So, but what's going to help that is shading. So we'll put a little top along the top there. And then I'm going to add some asphaltum to that and put just almost like a little base to that basket. Okay, come back to that color. And we're going to go, push my glasses up. My new glasses are in, guys. I cannot wait to get them tomorrow. I just hope they work. So we're going to go over and under, and then over there. It really doesn't matter. And then under, over, you see what I'm doing? I'm just doing right over it because my shading will take care of it. And we're just going to shade at the unders and the overs to give us an idea of where they are woven, okay? So I really like that brighter color, and I hope my top of my hair is not in the camera, but I'm trying to see these little fine detail lines with these stupid glasses. Alrighty, let's dry that. And let's get, I don't know why that's not showing up. There we go. The comments weren't showing up on YouTube for me. So, I have before, Linda. I've given away several of my painted pieces before. Hello, Mary. So glad that you're here. Alrighty, let's let that cool down. I'm going to come back with a little asphaltum, and let's see if I used little asphaltum and a little Payne's gray on the toe of that 1/4 inch angle, very little. Okay, now this is where we're going to get into That's over, that's under. That's over, that's under. And we're gonna have to, so the side, to redo the top reeds so that it looks like it goes under and over. Okay, and that's under, that's over, so that's under. Seriously, as I painted this, you would have laughed at me because I'm sitting there saying this as I'm painting. Okay, this is under, this is over, this is over, this is under, and I confused myself. That's under, that's over, that's under. Under, over, under. Over, under. And I probably will still do it wrong. Let me just say. That's over. That's gonna go under. It's such a tiny, tiny little detail, but you know, you have to get that little shading in, or they're all gonna look over and not under. So that's over. Yep, I think I already did that wrong. That's what I should have done. Hello, right there. So under, over, under, over, under. How funny is that? You could use a liner brush too, and I probably should have to get these little lines on. Okay, so over on Facebook, it doesn't look like someone write a comment, say hello, say what you're doing. My comments don't seem to be coming up on Facebook, like they stopped 10 minutes ago. Alrighty. So now we're going to be a little more methodical. So this is going to be over and under and over and under. There we go, Sandy. See, it's not that difficult. Actually, it is. That's over, over and under. That's so comical. Alrighty, the eggs, we're moving on from that. Let's do the handle first. Same mixture with that white and deep ochre. And these are basically just S strokes. So kind of like you see on a candy cane. What's hilarious is I thought that face was just gonna be the hardest part today in that basket. Hello. So we're just gonna start on the side and do a little S, go the opposite direction. Okay, so let me show you that on, I have this piece of cardboard, we'll do that. So if you start here and go, okay, just that little S stroke. On the, the eggs, I did green, same one as I did in the back, the foliage green, the lavender, and sunny day. And then to shade them, I did a little bit of green. Hello, I need to shake that. A little green with some Payne's Gray, or you could even use a little asphaltum. Let's see what the asphaltum looks like. And we just want to, nope, it needs the Payne's Gray. needs that dark. Along the bottom. It is holding my breath, right? Y'all were watching quietly and I'm sitting here holding my breath trying to paint under, over, under, over. And it still needs some highlights. I really love the highlights on that one. And I just came back with some white and a little deep ochre, and it definitely needs it on that basket. But I need to move on. So a little white and a little green. I'm going to use some titanium white and foliage green. And we'll do a little highlight along the top. That's hilarious. And then rinse that out a little lavender and a tiny touch of Payne's Gray. And we're going to float that at the base. Actually, let me rinse that out because I still have a little bit of white in it. Lavender, Payne's Gray. And we'll do that at the base of that lavender one. Little lavender, little tiny touch of white. I have, do I have it here? Oh, I do. It's on the wall though. Another basket that I did that I love. It has little sunflowers in it. Okay, little highlight on the lavender one. So lavender, a little bit of white. The sunny day, we're going to come over here to that saffron. Put a little of that. And I'm going to deepen that with a little touch of asphaltum on that yellow one. Oh yeah, that's what it needs. Okay. Now, let's come back and get some white with that gold. And we're going to do just a brighter highlight. I'm holding my breath. There we go. It's that highlight coming down that makes that difference. And if you see one that's not going under or over and it's supposed to, oh well. I'm going to take that liner brush. No, I'm going to take the rigger, the Zero Rigger lavender, make it kind of inky. Get a little bit of white with that. Make it kind of, and this is just kind of a loopy ribbon. I didn't want to do anything too big. I started to do something very similar, and I changed it because it was just too big. And I'm not even worried if I go over all the white, because I'm going to come back and highlight it with white with my liner brush. Okay, again, just to get kind of loopy, almost like there's maybe white and purple ribbon in there. And then we'll shade that when it's dried off. A little bit of white on that liner brush. And let's pop in a little highlight on these eggs. Alrighty, let's dry that. Those eggs are so tiny. All right. Okay. Now on the words, guys, what I did is on the words I base coated them in with white. And then on this one I did the shading. I didn't do the shading on Easter because I thought it'd be helpful to show you how I do that. I'm going to come in with a small, actually on this one I'm going to use my rigger. So my Zero Rigger get water in my brush and Payne's Gray. Now, let's put that where you can see it on the palette. Down here. Okay, we want it inky. So test it if you need to on, I don't even know what this is, but test it on card or paper so that you know if it's too dark. Okay, I need a clip for my hair. It is in the way. And I'm going to put my shadow on the right side of my letters. So it's going to go on the right side. I might need to zoom in just a touch. Okay, so see that shadow there? And so I did one coat of white, and then I'll do my shadow, and then another coat of white, which I've already done on Hoppy. But that little shadow, I don't know if I'm liking it with that rigger, just because it's leaving that puddle at the end there. Let me go to a small brush. I typically will use like a 2, but I think on that one I did do a rigger. Just not digging it. Okay, and so I have a 2 flat. I'm going to go up on the corner and basically just wash on this little shadow for the letters. Let me look at the camera and see if that's even showing up for you guys. Hopefully it is. A little bit more if you're not seeing it. But again, you want to make it inky. It's much easier to put it on, let it dry, and then strengthen it if you need to, instead of going with a whole bunch of heavy paint. And then underneath that. And the reason I do one layer of my color first and then the shadow is because, as you can see, I'm getting onto those letters, and it kind of makes a little bit of a mess. So, but look how that makes that stand up and stand off of that background. Okay, so I'm not gonna base coat that one again. This one's been base coated again, but I want to show you how I did the bottom of the letters. Alrighty. So with that number 2 flat, and I'm going to come in with some saffron yellow, and again inky, nice and inky, and we'll do the bottom of those. But I'm going to dry this because I don't want to ruin it. I want to be able to finish that later. So with that color, I'm going to concentrate on the bottom half of that word. Make sure that's not hot. And I'm going to take that and just do a little wash right on those letters. Now, because it's so thin and inky, if I went outside the line a little bit, you're not going to be able to see it. If it were with the Payne's Gray, you definitely would, but not with that saffron. Okay, let's dry that. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Charlene. Okay, that still needs another coat, but let's just go ahead and do the bottom of that one too, so you can see again that number 2 flat, inky, and on that one I did, oh, that's hot. And to avoid having like a straight line there, you can soften it with your mop. You can always come back too with a little white above it. That's really, really yellow. Really yellow. So I want it inky. Okay, so well, hello, I was off camera, or was I off camera? Hopefully I was on camera. I had that pushed over. Okay, right here, just so I can show you, because, you know, sometimes knowing how to fix something is better than the lesson itself, right? Where that line is. Just take a little bit of white and kind of soften and diffuse it out so you don't have such a harsh line. Okay, he needs brighter whiskers. He needs a little shadow and some splatter, and he's done. And I can't wait to add his friends, his little chickie friend, and his little lammy friend soon. Just soften that look just a little. Okay. So a shadow underneath some things is necessary because I like to do them. Number 2, you get some water, some Payne's Gray. Again, make a nice little inky consistency. Nothing too dark. Again, it's easier to intensify it later. But I am going to put a little under his tail and just do a little shimmy. A little under his foot and basket. Okay, we'll do a little for the ribbon tails. You know, I've always called them streamers. Okay, a little under that ribbon where we put that brown before. I'll put a little one there, a little there on his shirt. Where else do I have one? I think I might come in and add just a little bit of that inky shadow right in his ear. Yeah. There. And then I'm going to wipe off the brush, but I'm going to come in and I'm just going to kind of scumble this in here and there. I feel like he needs a little bit more to that tail. So I did that and then I wiped it off. And I'm just going to dot in some white, hopefully keep some of that Payne's Gray showing. Okay. I hope I was on camera for his ears. I don't know. 1/4 inch angle. Thank you guys. Little bit of Payne's Gray. And we're just going to put a little bit on that ribbon knot right there. And then a little highlight of white. Okay, and so remember how I said that it kind of soaks in, so like that white soaked right into that green. Put a little bit of highlight on there. Alrighty. Let's see if I need to add anything. I do. I want to separate with that inky Payne's Gray right where his tail meets his body. underneath his shirt. You can still see a little bit of that shading that we put in there, but we'll just do it with a little inky. We don't want to make it obvious though. We want to make him fluffy. There. And then remember on his basket, I did come back in and put some of that fluff right back on his foot. So it shows up a little bit more. Brighter white. And I think he might be close to being done. We need to bring that handle right into his hand. It's like I stopped. Okay. Aw, thank you, Christine. Good to see you on. All right, guys, so this one is big. Look how furry and fluffy he is, which I figured he probably would grow and be a little bit bigger. But same exact way, same painting. The only thing I love to add to a little softness to it is some splatter. So I'm going to use my 1-inch oval encaustic brush, get it wet. White paint, make it nice and inky. I wanted this to be a nice, fine, thin little splatter. So I'm going to splatter. Now, one thing is, before you splatter, if you're like, oh, I'm afraid the splatter's going to mess it up, put a thin layer of either glazing medium or matte medium or even a matte spray. And that way, if you don't like it, you have some time to wipe it off. Okay, so a little splatter. And then you do want to see where, you know, wherever you don't want it, get it off while it's wet. And I think I'm pretty fine with where it's at. So, all righty. I think that's it. Let me look at the comments real quick and see. Oh, thank you, Karen. That's the sweetest compliment. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sandy Pyle. Again, don't forget to message me your mailing address. And let's see how flat my hair is from these lights. Hello. I told you it'd be a hot mess. In fact, I think I have them right here. Yep, Sandy, those are from last week, I think. You won these watercolor pencils. And if you sent me your mailing address, I don't have it. So message me and I will get those off to you. And then I have a second one here that I will share. This one, Mary Jane Field. Mary Jane Field, okay? Message me your mailing address. You can go to my website, click on the Contact Us button, or you can private message me here on Messenger, all right? So, hi, Sue, that's okay. You're in time just to see my sweaty self from my studio lights. Anywho's, thank you, Lucy. I think he's sweet. He makes me smile. And I can't wait, like I said, to get his friends done. So, his Lammy and his little yellow chickadee friend. So thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. And thanks for putting those links and stuff in. I greatly appreciate that. The first one looks a little devious. He kind of does, and I think it's the eyebrows, right? Those Jack Nicholson eyebrows. Anyway. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic creative week. I'm looking forward to my first full week with my husband being retired and working for me now. So that will be fun. Get those brushes out, get that paint out. Thank you so much to everybody that bought this little e-packet. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being here and watching and supporting. You know, it doesn't take anything to comment, to like, to share on anybody's live or lesson or whatever, and it greatly helps us. It greatly helps me, and I appreciate you guys being a part of that. So thank you, thank you. Will you be doing the lamb and the chicken live? Most likely, Sandy, but most likely, yes. So we'll see. But I've got to get them done, and I want to get them done before Easter, but I also have some deadlines and some traveling coming up, which I'm excited about as well. So, all right, guys, get the brushes out, get the paint out, do something creative, have a wonderful week, be kind to yourself. And remember, at the end of the day, it's just paint, right? Make sure it's on your fingers and you have fun. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.